Welcome.
Thank you. Hello to all the councillors. You've all got this, haven't you? So you can, yes. Okay. So I'm not going to speak to, I'm going to come in at about 1.4, just to wish you every success in your battle for the water and to control our own water instead of being bulldozed through in Wellington. That would be fantastic for a success there, but it's going to be very hard. I support you wholeheartedly. The Styx River, I'm here again, Madam Mayor, to say that the lower Styx River, the maintenance is a disgrace, and I often wonder if the worksheet is ever checked with the job not done. Just goes on and on. But that's the lower Styx River, not the rest of it. The infrastructure of our city. Many people drive their cars to work and leave them there, which you'd know. But for women, there is a completely different lifestyle as they look after their children and all their interests. They're elderly and they use their cars across the day. So I do hope, and I beg, that they are considered as we're making it more and more difficult in many ways for drivers of cars. But actually the women and the family have a whole separate form of needing transport compared to the one-on businessman or the one-on this, because that needs to be taken into consideration. I have a slight feeling that the committee must be all male sometimes. The council long-term plan uses the words of council policy and demonstrated need. Now, I take the Warranui pool as a local example and consider that the future, if it was shut, this is a major and has been for a long time local swimming pool for the area. The same problem exists for the local libraries and other aspects there. As you get the bigger and the better in the central, you're losing very precious and necessary local facilities. Therefore, it's not necessarily the local opinion in local council that agrees at all with council policy and demonstrated need. They're absolutely different in many circumstances. I fear you're going down the road of having bigger, brighter and better, whereas the treasured local is being ignored. And you ignore it at your peril because people really care for these places. The Arts Centre, I wondered in the paper today, they haven't got enough projects apparently. And I'm wondering if we could call that a shovel-ready. It's more than a shovel-ready, it's half-ready and most magnificently done. And it seems to me that if we could get this finished and completed, it is, within the country, not just within our city, a superb example of the architecture of this city. So I'd look at that as possible funding from, if they haven't got the funding spent, see if they'd give us some while we push this job for the future quicker than it's going at the moment and how long it's going to take. The highest quality, and I'd love to see that finished. I support the base isolation of the Robert McDougall Gallery. I think there'd be outrage if you decided to pull that down. And yes, it's not seen from where it is, but it is and could be the function of the overall arts area that's there, and it's going to be very special. But it is in limbo, sadly. It needs to be done in order to move on. The potential of local vacant sites. Just take a look at how long South Hagley Park has been still and in an appalling state. It's on the corner of South Hagley Park and Deans Avenue. It's now parking for the hospital. But that's been allowed to be there as long as I think I've lived in this city. So I really think I applaud you for saying that's just not good enough to have wastelands just sitting there idle. The trees, I would park them all over the sea. It refers mainly to the Avon River project. But I think they're the only umbrella of beauty in an otherwise boring flat city. And so we must plant both native and introduced species wherever we can and love them, but just make sure they're not too near the local neighbours who will complain when they get too big. But where you see them, where you have them in the city, they are truly wonderful. And I have to say, coming across Cambridge Terrace down the river here, it was beautiful today, and the flowers, the whole thing is very special. Finally, I've noticed over the last few years, I'm not a great computer person. I think I sort of represent a lot of people of my age. And I know you'll say refer to the computer, but I read the newspaper. And the newspaper of this council work is getting less and less and less. I don't know if any of you read the newspaper. There's no information or reporting of what actually happens here. So this is why you get people that say, it's too hard, I'm not going to get involved, which is a great pity.
There was a big headline today about a mobile library. So, I mean, the press is covering some of these issues that are
Ye-
coming
yes,
up.
I know there's a little bit.
Yeah.
You used to have a report. It used to be on page 2, and it used to be almost all council news.
I know.
And I think that people would love to have something like that, because in
I
conversations
think if we
that I
wanted that,
have,
we'd have to pay for it.
Well,
it's called advertising.
but let's see that that's
Yeah.
the trouble with everything. They have
Yeah.
to pay for it, and that is so people. There's a whole page of people that didn't get involved in the annual plan, and the Star, I think, was the Star.
Yeah.
And they didn't know about it, they didn't get involved. That tells you it's not right.
No.
You are local, you're representing the local, and there should be a bridge between the two, in my opinion.
Yeah. No. Thank you very much.
Can I just say,
that-
3 minutes is not long enough for people to talk to their issues.
Yes, it is.
That is an absolute insult to the public who have read the document, driven in here, paid their parking fee, walked here and sat and waited. It is an insult. This is local, this is the only chance they have. And for my time, I loved the annual plan. It was always
know.
very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you very much.